All right.
Talk about a LERTA program for Myerstown Borough. I think he'll give you a little history, but you may recall that this was discussed, I think, back all the way to 2017. It feels like a year ago, but it could be 2 or 3. So.
Yeah. Welcome, Michael.
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Perfect. Yes.
Yeah. Well, good morning, first of all. I'd like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to address you. I know it's been a couple years since we've spoken about the LERTA program here in Myerstown Borough. So if you don't mind, I'd like to give you just kind of a brief summary of how we got here. And I'd also like to thank the commissioners for the support they've shown the borough over the years. I've only been here with the borough for about 5 years, but anytime the borough's had an event or a major public meeting, there's always been a county commissioner in attendance, and you know, everyone here certainly recognizes and appreciates that support. So, so thank you for that. I'm essentially here to ask to make a request that the commissioners adopt a resolution to join Myerstown Borough and the Elko School District in our creation of a LERTA tax exemption program. We passed an ordinance in 2017. The Elko School District adopted a resolution shortly thereafter. And the project kind of took place over several years of planning and public outreach efforts. In 2012, the borough adopted a new comprehensive plan. In that comprehensive plan, they made revitalization and redevelopment a priority for the borough. And that comprehensive planning effort, it was actually funded in part by the county from the comprehensive planning grants that the county issued through the 2007 County Comprehensive Plan update. But that effort was kind of the catalyst to engage Myerstown residents and taxpayers to come to a consensus on a future vision for Myerstown Borough that was really developed around what the community wanted. And the community really wants revitalization and redevelopment. One of the common themes that was heard in the outreach effort was that the borough has seen a decrease in investment over the past few decades. The community made it pretty clear that they wanted to see an increase in the level of investment and an increase in the level of business presence. As you know, historically there has been a high business presence in the downtown of Myerstown and the area throughout the borough, really. So as a result of that, the borough in 2013 hired a consultant to perform an economic development study. The purpose of this study was to help identify opportunities for investment and really to help explain to the borough why there's been a lack of development and investment over the past couple decades. The study concluded that some of the primary reasons for the lack of investment were simply the financial hurdles of redeveloping land and redeveloping older buildings, and the fact that there was not many incentives for development. So one of the recommendations that came out of that study was for the borough to put into place a LERTA district to help incentivize development and redevelopment of the older buildings and some of the underutilized properties. As a result of that recommendation, the borough officials, they looked at LERTA districts nearby. We did some site visits. We looked at the LERTA district in Lebanon City. We went down south as there's quite a few LERTA districts in Lancaster County. Made some site visits to Lancaster City and a couple others, just to learn more about LERTA, how it's implemented in those municipalities, and you know, how each one of them kind of does it a little bit different. After that effort, we held a public meeting. The public meeting was to help determine if there was community support for the LERTA district and to determine what the boundaries of the district would be and who would be eligible. Thank you to Commissioner Phillips, as he was in attendance at that meeting. You know, he offered his comments and concerns among many other members of the public that did the same. Ultimately, the borough determined that the entirety of the borough within the borough boundaries would be considered a LERTA district, and that both commercial and residential properties would be eligible as long as the project was over $10,000 and as long as the project resulted in an increase in the assessed value of the property. The abatement period is 7 years. The schedule is 100% abatement in year 1, 100% abatement in year 1, 90% abatement in year 2, and then 15% more each year up until year 7. So that's kind of a recap of the efforts and the timeline there. I'm happy to take any questions from the county commissioners on this item, but really we're hoping that you would support a resolution to join us in our efforts with the LERTA district.
Right. I'll entertain a motion and then we can have some discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve the LERTA.
I'm not really inclined, for similar reasons in the past, to second the motion.
I'll second the motion. And now discussion. It's already been approved by the borough and by the school district, Michael, and I just have one question. I couldn't, and maybe I missed it in your narrative here, but if a business is in their 3rd year and they've complied with other pieces of the requirements, can they be inserted in year 4? I mean, is there any way, I'm just asking, is there a way for someone that's in it's kind of a new business to take advantage of it, even though they're it's not new since this would be adopted?
So I believe the ordinance, it goes by the date that the ordinance was put into place. So, unfortunately, like many other incentive programs, the date that it was adopted is kind of the date. But any business, any property that would like to and do development in the future they're certainly eligible.
Okay, my feeling has been, and I'm glad the residential has, you adjusted after hearing some feedback, but I do feel that these kind of decisions should be made at the local level, reflecting what the folks who live there want. And so I supported this. Any other questions, Bill, anything?
No, I am a bit confused now because I had resisted this early on because it included, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it included the entire borough at one point. Is that correct?
Correct. So the ordinance that was passed by the borough and the resolution that was passed by the school district in 2017 did include the entire borough. Correct.
And it doesn't anymore?
No, that hasn't changed. There's
That's what I thought.
Right. There's nothing that's changed from the ordinance to the resolution. Now, if the county were to pass a resolution, for example, if you specified that only commercial properties would be involved in the county's resolution, then that's how it would go forward. So if a residential property wanted to do development, they'd get the abatement from the borough and from the school district, but not from the county.
Well,
So
I thought that's what this was doing, limited it to commercial.
Yeah, that's what I understood. Yeah.
Yeah, and the county's resolution can specify that.
But the other two have not?
The other two have not. No, we've not done any effort or any meeting on the LERTA since 2017 when it was adopted.
And that is how this one is drafted for commercial.
For commercial, yeah. Because I was unwilling to support it, and that was through talks and so on with folks involved. Was my understanding that I said that I would be willing to support just for commercial property. So as long as we're sure that's what we're doing,
Yeah, that was my understanding.
Yeah, if I could just read from the wording directly, authorizing the granting of tax exemptions on the assessed value of certain improvements and new construction to industrial, commercial, and other business properties in an area of the borough of Myerstown.
I'd like to review my reasons for my concern on this particular proposal. First of all, I see it as a domino effect on other boroughs and even the city. And that means they could all come into us and request that every business, every commercial property within their district becomes part of a LERTA for $10,000. That's not a big improvement. It could just be a roof. And that then in turn will transfer the tax burden to all of the residents in all of the townships in this county. Number two, there is a nightmare of bureaucracy and record keeping for our assessment office in this proposal. I don't know that they're getting reimbursed for all that extra work, and I don't think it's fair to them. And then C, I did not hear from the businesses that they have changed their mind, the ones who have invested downtown, the ones who are successful downtown, and the ones who have already spent tons of money to allowing others to get a tax break when they didn't. And it involves it's not an area that you haven't had success in marketing and getting, it's the whole borough. It's just overwhelming, and I'm not ready to support this, I'm sorry.
Any other discussion? All right, we'll call the question. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, it's motion passes 2-1. Michael, thank you for your visit, and good luck with your projects in Myerstown Borough.
Thank you very much for your consideration.
You bet.